The president says his executive order honors Lewis and other civil rights activists who marched. It comes at a time when voting rights are again in the spotlight. Many states are proposing measures that critics say would restrict voting rights, and congressional Democrats are pushing a sweeping bill to counter those efforts.
The blood of John Lewis and so many other brave and righteous souls that was spilled in Selma on this Sunday in 1965 sanctified a noble struggle.
Late Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis is on the minds of President Biden and Americans across the country today. It's the 56th anniversary of the March for Voting Rights across the Edmund Pettus Bridge. But this year's tribute is different. There's no memorial march because of the pandemic, and this is the first anniversary since Lewis died in July.
But the legacy of the March in Selma is that while nothing can stop free people from exercising their most sacred power as a citizen, there are those who will do anything they can to take that power away.
Today's executive order directs federal agencies to expand access to voter registration and election information, allow federal employees to take time off to vote or volunteer as nonpartisan poll workers, and pushes for an overhaul of the vote.gov website.
Every eligible voter should be able to vote and have that vote counted.
This week, the House passed H.R. 1. It's also known as the For the People Act, which includes the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act.
I want to remind all of our colleagues of his last call to action on that day. Stricken with cancer, John said, "Never give up, never give in. We must keep our eyes on the prize."
The bill expands voting rights in several ways. It prohibits voter ID laws, expands in-person early voting, restores voting rights for felons, mandates paper ballots in federal elections, and calls for prepaid absentee ballots. Democrats say the bill prevents voter suppression, while Republican leaders say it opens the door for voter fraud.
So I think we just came through a period of time when the American people really have a lot of doubts about our elections and how votes are counted and how votes are cast. And this just kind of amplifies that and says, well, we're going to make it even more difficult to believe in.
Many Republicans also say H.R. 1 is an attempt by the federal government to interfere in states' authority to conduct their own elections.
A lot of Georgians have lost confidence. They didn't have faith in the process. That shouldn't be the case. We need to make sure that all Georgians, Republican or Democrat, have faith in the process.
In Georgia, the Republican-controlled state house voted to strictly limit absentee and early voting. In Arizona, the GOP-controlled state Senate approved a bill to remove voters from the permanent absentee ballot list if they do not vote in 2 consecutive elections. And in Missouri, the Republican-controlled state house is looking at a measure to require identification when casting an absentee ballot. So far, more than 250 bills have been introduced in 43 states that critics say would restrict access to the ballot box. During his remarks today on what's known as Bloody Sunday, the president urged supporters for H.R. 1 in an effort to honor the legacy of the activists who endured suffering for the right to vote.
Let's remember all those who came before us as a bridge to our history so we don't forget its pain, and as a bridge to our future so we never lose hope.
H.R. 1 now goes to the Senate, where it faces an uncertain fate.